the penguin who loved the desert. Once upon a time, in the coldest corner of the world, there lived a little penguin named Pippa. Pippa was not like the other penguins in her colony. While her friends loved sliding on the ice and swimming in the frigid ocean, Pippa would stand on the shore and stare at the distant horizon, daydreaming about places she had never been. She loved listening to stories from the old penguins about faraway lands, lush jungles, misty mountains, and most mysterious of all, the desert. The desert, they said, was a place of endless sand, scorching sun, and colours that danced at sunset. The idea of a place so very different from her icy home filled Pippa's heart with wonder. What would it be like? She often wondered aloud. To see the golden dunes and feel warm sand beneath my flippers. Her friends would giggle. Penguins don't belong in the desert. But Pippa just smiled, her eyes full of adventure. One bright morning, Pippa waddled over to Grandpa Percy, the oldest and wisest penguin in the colony. Grandpa, she asked, do you think a penguin could ever visit the desert? Grandpa Percy chuckled softly and patted Pippa's wing. Anything is possible if you have courage and curiosity, my dear. The world is full of surprises for those who seek them. Inspired, Pippa decided that she would find a way to visit the desert. She prepared a tiny backpack, filled it with her favourite pebble, a feather from her best friend, and a small bottle of ice from her home, a little reminder of where she came from. She began her journey, waddling across the snowy plains, sliding over icy slopes, and swimming through chilly waters. Along the way, she met many animals, a curious seal, a wise old whale, and a flock of friendly seabirds. Each of them listened to Pippa's dream and offered advice. The whale told her, "Follow the warm currents, little penguin. They will lead you to new lands." The seabirds chirped, "Watch for the sun in the sky. It will point you toward warmer places." With each friend's help, Pippa travelled farther than any penguin had before. She reached the edge of the ice and found herself on a rocky beach where the air was warmer and the sun shone brighter. There, she met a kind turtle named Tilly. Tilly had travelled far and wide and knew the way to the desert. "Hop on my back," Tilly said with a smile. "I'll take you across the ocean to a land where the sand stretches as far as you can see." Pippa climbed onto Tilly's shell, and together they journeyed across the waves. After many days, they reached a new shore. The sand was warm and soft, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of wildflowers. Pippa waddled onto the golden shore, her eyes wide with amazement. Before her stretched endless dunes, rippling in the sun like waves frozen in time. She took off her tiny boots and let the sand slip between her toes. It was warm, so different from the ice she knew. As she explored, Pippa met new friends. A cheerful camel named Karim, a clever desert fox named Fira, and a gentle lizard called Luna. They welcomed her with smiles and showed her the wonders of the desert. Karim took Pippa on a ride across the dunes, showing her how the wind shaped the sand into beautiful patterns. Fira taught her how to find shade under the cacti and how to listen for the songs of the desert birds. Luna showed her the stars at night, brighter than any Pippa had ever seen, twinkling over the silent sands. Pippa loved every moment, but she also learned how different life was in the desert. The days were hot and the nights were cold. Water was precious, and everyone shared what they had. Pippa remembered her little bottle of ice and offered it to her friends who had never touched snow before. They were amazed by its coolness and sparkle. During her time in the desert, Pippa discovered that every place has its own beauty. The desert was full of colours, soft pinks and golds at sunrise, deep purples at sunset, and shimmering silver under the stars. But she also began to miss her icy home and the laughter of her penguin friends. One evening, as she watched the sun sink behind the dunes, Pippa realised that adventure is wonderful, but home is special too. She hugged Karim, Fira and Luna goodbye, promising to write letters and share stories. Tilly the turtle was waiting to take her back across the sea. The journey home was filled with memories. Pippa carried a small pouch of desert sand, a feather from Fira, and a tiny bell from Karim to remind her of her adventure. When she finally returned, her penguin friends gathered around, eager to hear her tales. Pippa told them about the golden dunes, the colourful sunsets, and the amazing friends she had made. She showed them her pouch of sand and let them touch the feather and ring the bell. Her colony listened in awe. Even the skeptical penguins who once giggled at her dreams now begged for more stories. From that day on, Pippa became the storyteller of the colony. She taught everyone that it's okay to dream of faraway places, to be curious, and to try new things. Her adventures inspired other young penguins to explore, to ask questions, and to believe that anything is possible if you have courage and kindness in your heart. And so, Pippa the penguin, who loved the desert, showed everyone that the world is full of magic, for those who dare to dream. And every night, as the stars sparkled over the ice, Pippa would gaze out at the horizon, her heart full of memories, and wonder what other adventures awaited her, just beyond the next sunrise. But Pippa's story didn't end there. As the days grew longer and the colony prepared for the coming winter, Pippa noticed something wonderful. Other young penguins had started their own little adventures. Some tried sliding further than before, others practiced new swimming strokes, and a few even built sandcastles with the pouch of desert sand Pippa had brought back. One chilly afternoon, Pippa gathered her friends for a special story time. She spread out a blanket on the ice, placed the desert sand in a circle, and invited her friends to sit around. As everyone settled down, Pippa began a new tale. Once, in a land where the sun was so bright it made the sand sparkle, I met a wise old camel who taught me a special song. Let me teach it to you. She sang a gentle melody, and soon all the penguins joined in, their voices echoing across the ice. As the song faded, Pippa smiled. She realized that her adventure had brought something new and wonderful to her home, a touch of the desert's warmth right there amid the snow. With each passing day, Pippa's stories became a bridge between her world and the world beyond. The colony learned about distant lands, different animals, and the importance of kindness and sharing. The penguins discovered that even though they lived far from the desert, they could still be connected through imagination and friendship. One day, a letter arrived for Pippa. It was from her friends in the desert. Karim wrote about a rare rainstorm that turned the desert green with flowers. Vera sent a drawing of a new burrow, and Luna included a tiny shell she had found under the stars. Pippa was overjoyed and shared the letter with everyone. The penguin colony decided to send a letter back. They dipped their wings in blueberry juice and stamped little penguin prints on a piece of ice paper. Pippa wrote about the snowball fights, the shimmering auroras, and how much she missed her friends. The letter was sent off with the help of the seabirds, who promised to deliver it to the desert. Pippa's heart was full. She knew she would never forget her adventure, and she was grateful for the friends and the memories she had made. She learned that no matter how far you travel, home is always with you, carried in your heart. As winter arrived and the snow fell softly over the land, Pippa would sometimes dream of the desert's golden dunes. But now, she also dreamed of new adventures and the wonderful surprises the world had to offer. And every evening, as she watched the sun dip below the icy horizon, Pippa whispered a promise to the wind. There are so many stories to tell, and so many dreams to follow. The world is big and my heart is brave. And so, in the land of ice and snow, the penguin who loved the desert taught everyone that the greatest adventure is to follow your dreams, no matter where they lead. And that, dear listener, is the story of Pippa, the penguin who loved the desert.